Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this very icy night. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Logan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Not used to getting called first.
We're missing a few people, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion on the reports?
I will make a motion that we file the reports for code compliance, dog control officer, ECI, Patterson Fire Department. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the supervisor's report?
Supervisor's report, I'll make a motion that we approve the supervisor's report for September 2018. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
On the minutes, we have several meeting minutes to approve. We have bid openings from October 31st for winter sidewalk maintenance, auditing services for November 1st, public hearing minutes for the Noble variance application of October 24th, 2018, the public hearing minutes for the preliminary budget of October 24th, 2018, and the town board meeting minutes of October 10th, October 24th, and the special meeting held over at the VFW relating to the castle for October 30th, 2018. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 20, dated October 26, 2018, in the amount of $191,301.06. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unfortunately, Mr. Cook could not be here with us tonight. Does anybody want to start working on his agenda?
Okay, I'll take the wastewater treatment repair. We've taken a few bills to replace the rotted door on the, and I'm not sure what this SBR stands for here, his initials? South, is it south?
Sequential batch reactor.
Okay.
Part of the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, so the lowest bidder was Northeast, and I'd like to make a motion to approve Northeast in an amount not to exceed more than $1,200 for that repair. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would just like to point out, I am not an advocate of metal-sided buildings, and this is why. I fight with the planning board all the time on this issue. So,
I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on Mr. Cook's agenda.
Hey, Rick, I lost the audio on the system for some reason.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I don't know.
Okay, we have a request from Mr. David Frost, the pastor of the Patterson Community Church. He's submitted an application to our department for the purpose of installing 2 natural gas furnaces in the Grange Hall. Like to make a motion to waive the fees for the permit and the certificate of compliance, each for in the amount of $225 for an amount of $450. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Also, again, Mr. Frost has submitted an application to our department for the purpose of selling Christmas trees and associated holiday items for the 2018 holiday season. We are waiving the fees associated with the Christmas tree permit and site restoration for the Patterson Community Church. So I'd like to make a motion to waive those fees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, next item we have Westchester Modular has completed their site plan. They're requesting their escrow funds to be released, so I'll make a motion that we release the escrow balance of $2,471.40 and the post-construction escrow balance of $3,704.45. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item we have is the EMS facility. We have closed on the property,
Yep.
correct? And we have several options that have been drafted by our contracted architectural professional. I know we had some comment from our EMS administrator, which in essence wanted to make sure that the EMTs had a proper bathroom facility within their building, which would be the garage. And we have a couple of different optional floor plans to consider. So one floor plan is for the garage, first floor, second floor. The other is for the main house, or the main building. And so open for discussion by the board.
So just so the public is aware of what's going on, we are looking at actually tearing the garage down in the back, because at the end of the day, it would be cheaper to remove the garage and rebuild it in kind. As Sean pointed out, we have two different proposals, one for a two-story and one for a single-story building. I personally prefer the single-story building. We just need to add a bathroom and shower facility in that building. So,
I like that too, single story.
thoughts? The only issue is to tie into the existing septic, we're going to need to get approved a pump chamber to go up.
That would be with the single story as well? You need that?
Pretty much either story, yeah.
I think I'd like to see a generic cost analysis of the difference between the two, because I like the two-story better, quite honestly. I like that you have got plenty of room for the garage space for holding both ambulances, and the equipment layout for, there's a lot of gear associated with stocking an ambulance, and I think having the room to have some storage on that main floor might be beneficial. And it's not a tremendous building. We're looking at,
No, it's not.
25 by 40-ish.
It's basically a shell.
Yeah, and I think that once you've built the shell, going up with a dormer roof line or something simple is not that.
All right, let me get back to Stephanie. We are going to need to approve additional funding for Stephanie to move
Yeah.
forward with this project.
Sure.
And I will take care of that for the next meeting.
Excuse me. Okay. Next item we had is auditing services. We had a bid that was opened, bidding process that we had previously approved, that was opened on November 2nd. There were 3 bidders. The low bidder was Theodore Eglet, CPA, for a lump sum of $12,000.
So what we need to do on this is, as part of the bid package, we need to meet with the 2 most eligible bidders, generally that's the
Okay.
lower bidders, and we need to conduct interviews.
Okay, sounds like fun.
The interviews have tentatively been scheduled for, within the bid, for just prior to the next meeting, the 28th. So we will be starting the next town board meeting, likely at 5:30, and going immediately into executive session for the purposes of conducting interviews for the auditing services for the town, because even the town needs to get audited.
So that should be a fun interview.
Yes.
Okay. Moving right along, we have a request from our, I almost said our highway superintendent, but I mean our recycling coordinator, Russ Goff, sanitation administrator, sorry.
There you go.
I got it. Too many titles. To propose increasing some of the fees for the recycling permits for the Patterson Recycling Center. They are currently at $20 for 1 sticker, $25 for 2. That's for the residential use, and they are currently at $175 for the commercial permit. Russ has proposed an increase to $30 for the residential permit, $40 if you want 2 stickers, so an additional $10, and $200 for the commercial. I don't see it in here, but that's what it said, $200 for the commercial. Is that correct, Russ? Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts from the board?
So my only concern is if we did increase the permit fees, we're talking about potentially somewhere between an additional $5,000 and $6,000 to the overall program, which really isn't a tremendous amount of money. It'll help a little bit. But I did ask the town clerk for a copy of the number of recycling permits that we issue every year for the past few years. And from 2015 to 2017, every year the number of permits has consistently dropped as we raise the fees and raise the fees for individual items. So I'm having a hard time with this, Russ. I know, you do a tremendous job out there, and I know you're very, very conscious of the costs that we charge to everybody, but I'm having a difficult time, justifying raising the fees, the permit fees, in light of the fact that it seems that more people, or actually less people, are using the recycling center. And I'm concerned that that's because of the additional costs that everybody's incurring. Thoughts?
Yeah. The weights are the same that we're taking out of there, and it would be raising it to 50 cents a week. That's all we're talking about.
Do we
to
keep
dump
a
the garbage.
log on?
Excuse me?
Do we keep a log on who comes in and
No.
drops? Do we check them?
We
as
try
they
to
come?
check permit holders, make sure that they in fact have a permit. But
I'm saying because if we have, say, one family has a permit, how many times is that family visiting the site? Maybe to keep track of whether they're, because
yeah, it's hard to do with one part-time worker over there.
I will
Yes.
say this, I do frequent the recycling center quite a bit, and I do see a lot of the same faces
Yeah.
when I go in there.
Yeah.
Well, you see the dumpsters,
Oh,
they're
I just see
loaded.
this- Listen,
every
there's no
week.
doubt it's being used and
Yeah.
used a lot. And,
Yeah. I was
people
thinking
that-
50 cents a week wasn't that much money.
I think that if we keep maybe track of the plate numbers, because they're associated to the sticker,
Right.
that maybe we could troubleshoot what's going on with the revenue going down and the weight going up, as well as the,
Well, my concern was not that the revenue was going down as much as it was that there are less people getting permits.
yeah, and.
Now, that could be, I know we have an issue right now that we've talked about where people are getting permits, but they're not affixing them to the windows of the cars.
Right.
I know we're gonna be changing that.
Mhm.
It could be simply that they're, getting one, and sharing it with friends.
Could be, but
It could be.
Well, the only thing is I actually personally feel as though that I wouldn't want the sticker in my window when I'm going over to the mall or somewhere, that they know where I'm coming from for,
so what do you
just
suggest we?
privacy,
What do you
you know.
suggest we do then?
Um,
Because it's hard. You have one checker there.
yeah.
You have to check and see that he's even allowed to be there. The windows are tinted. They're down. They don't put it on.
Well, they have to get out of the car to unload no one's unloading for them,
Right.
right? They should
Well-
have to have their license on
Yeah,
them.
but that place, you come there on a Saturday, it's mobbed. You can't go and check every single person every time.
And one of the good things about the current permit checker is he will help you unload. He doesn't just stand there
Yeah.
and watch what's going on. He really does assist all the people going in.
Yeah, he does. But he could be doing paperwork for one person, and now you have 3 people coming in dumping. I'm there almost every Saturday. I see what's going on there.
So I'm agreeing with you, it's gonna be very
Yeah.
difficult for him to keep track of everybody
Right.
going in and still provide the same level of service in other areas.
Right.
And I also think that they're not easily, obtained, the stickers. You have to, you're working and you have to come in between work hours, so I think we have to try to
Yeah.
work on getting some type of a process that we could do this online, and you probably have people purchasing them, more people purchasing them and only maybe using it once.
Yeah, it's a little over 400 stickers, I believe, so we're talking 4,000.
It's actually over 5.
Is it? And we're paying $62 a ton now, right? 62 to 65.
Just went up to almost 61.
Well, it fluctuates,
Yeah,
right?
well, it's not going down.
Right, but we used to pay nothing. We used to get paid a little bit
We
for
used to
it.
get paid a little bit.
So I'm just thinking we have to offset this money somehow. I mean, there's many needs over there,
Yeah.
so, well, think about it.
This is where we come back to use this analogy a lot, especially back in the planning board.
Sean,
That's why we have.
sorry, you guys cut out again.
Sorry. Any good there?
Yeah.
That we have professionals that work for this town, and we should rely on their expertise. And just like I would rely on the expertise of our town planner for advice, and certainly our supervisor, as well as our sanitation administrator. So based on Russ's knowledge of what's going on down there, I'm willing to support his recommendation of the increase in fees because he's there and I'm not. But I think what I want to see, and I want to put this on the record because Antoinette, our town clerk, has said that she is working towards getting all these permits online. I want to see that happen this year. I certainly think it should be in place by May or June, but the sooner the better. I know she said that she is working on it, and I think that that's important because it's still, as Mary had said, the part of the reason I think permits are down is because people don't have the time to come in here during the week when they're working to get a permit. If they're available online, I think we may see that number go up.
Yeah. I
So-
think at one time, didn't we purchase them there?
Yeah, we did.
Because I
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that either. I mean, we have somebody who's an employee of the town, they should be able to write a receipt and take, we're not talking about a large amount of money.
No, it's not. It gets to be an accounting headache,
Yeah.
which is why we kind of curtailed it.
But I think if people can, certainly in this day and age, if people can go online, we can figure out a way for them to prove residency. We can always have somebody in the office, they're doing it now, cross-reference the database and flag any issues.
Yeah.
You hate to not do something
And I'd
because
like-
you're afraid somebody's gonna, mess it up.
I'd like to see the license plates logged in,
Right.
in this way.
Russ, let's get together in the very near future and have another conversation about Billy issuing recycling stickers down at the recycling center. Because it may be that people are just having a difficult time getting in here.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll see if that, increases the number of permits.
Yeah, talk about a credit card swipe too, instead of handling cash down there.
Right.
Well, we could do it, no cash, only check.
That's a good idea too.
That's fine.
No cash.
No cash, but going with the credit card machine, that gets a little more complicated as well.
So maybe a combination of check at the site and online through the town's website might be the way to go. So do we want to move an increase of the 30 and 40 for the residential and up in the commercial to 200?
Make the motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. All right, Russ.
Aye as well.
Russ, you do a
Reluctantly.
tremendous job, not only highway, and I know you're going to be doing it tomorrow with what's the weather coming?
I think about 3 or 4 o'clock is when it's going to
3 or 4 o'clock, okay. So get to the recycling center before 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Next, we have a non-bid RFP procurement request form for some tree removal. This was behind 510 Lakeshore Drive in Patterson. The low bidder was Bill Henry Tree Service for an amount not to exceed, the amount was for $650. We're going to do it for an amount not to exceed $700 in case there's any extenuating costs. And I will move that motion to approve Bill Henry. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm always happy when one of our own residents gets our bids, and there's a little bit on that
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
so that's great. Next item we have are the fire department contracts. As obviously everyone knows, we've been back and forth with our fire departments, finalizing the language of the contracts. We need to set a public hearing for these, so I'll move that we set the public hearing for November 28th, I believe, the
28th.
next meeting, 7 o'clock or as soon thereafter, as can be heard. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that is both for the Putnam Lake
Putnam Lake.
Fire Department contract and the Patterson Fire Department contract.
Moving.
Mr. Eric, are you okay with that? Okay,
Great.
good.
Next item, we had a request for some interpretation on parts of our town code relating to subdivision. The public may recall we had a subdivision not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, for Noblay that came in, and we were talking about subdivision code. In that case, it was a variance. In this case, the planning board is looking for some clarification on parts of the I think it was the open space and the cluster overlay for some of those
It's
aspects.
part 2 of the subdivision code for open space development.
And our town supervisor / planner has drafted a very thorough response with some pointed, I guess, explanation or expansion of what the code, how it was written, what it's intended. So I'd like to move that we approve releasing this memo back to the planning board. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anything you want to mention on it, just as an overview?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. And next item, we had back in, I guess it was all the way back in June, June, that we had approved hiring our architect Stephanie Fox, and that was for reviewing both properties. The proposed, the Castle Restaurant was one of the sites that was being looked at for consideration of purchase by the town, and also the property out back, 22 Libel Place, the Harvey property. We had initially approved Ms. Fox for some hours. She has gone slightly over that, so I want to make a motion to approve the expenditure for her services. She did a fantastic job, I think by everyone's account, at giving the town the information that they needed to be able to take a hard look at those properties. People may also know that there was a meeting over in Putnam Lake that many of our residents spoke out about the Castle property and expressed their concerns and support, and maybe not support in some cases, for moving forward with that property. So in order to get Miss Stephanie Fox paid for her hard work for the town, I will make a motion to approve her bills, the additional expense. What is it, 20 hours? The additional 20.5 hours in total. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And lastly, we spoke a few weeks ago about proposing amendments to the Patterson Town Code, Chapter 150, which is the vehicle and traffic portion of the code, and it had to do with winter parking, obstructing where you're allowed to park during winter parking, and it was to restrict parking in certain areas along public and private streets, including within 30 feet of an intersection. We need to set a public hearing on this proposed amendment as well. So I'll make a motion, we approve a public hearing.
So you're introducing local law number?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm
There you
introducing
go.
local law number, is it,
Next page.
where are we? Local law number 6 of 2018. And scheduling a public hearing for November 28th. Thank you.
There you go.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I always appreciate help.
We all do. We all work great as a team.
Appreciate that.
All right, first on my agenda, a discussion about Staples. Both our town controller and myself met with a representative from Staples to talk about some programs that Staples does offer for purchasing office supplies. There's one program in particular. There's a cost to the town of $299 for an annual membership. It's an enhanced program. Staples is also on state bid. We could use Staples and just buy off a state bid, but this is an enhanced program, which will yield additional savings. In addition, if we bundle our purchases in bundles of $250 or more, there's an additional 3% reduction in the purchase price. It's my recommendation, and also the recommendation of the town controller, that we participate in the program, see how it works out for a year. They've assured us that we will accrue savings at least in as much as our annual membership. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we participate in the Staples Business Advantage Premium Membership Plan for an amount of $299. So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
No, I'm actually reading here that they'll, if you don't make the savings, they'll refund the cost to the program, so
Right.
it's a win-win.
It is. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we have some additional repairs to the never-ending list of repairs we have to do for the wastewater treatment plant. And that is a repair to the South Street lift station, suction line. Allen Industries was the low bidder. Actually, there's only 2 companies qualified to do this. and the other company, All Makes, who we have traditionally used, is so busy they declined the work. So Allen Industries gave us a price of $3,327, just to give us a little extra room there. The recommendation is for an amount not to exceed $3,500, and I'd like to make that in the form of a motion that we approve Allen Industries to complete the repairs at the South Street lift station. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's that time, and being as it's going to be snowing perhaps tomorrow, we have a resolution for the acceptance of the bids for winter sidewalk maintenance. This year's low bidder was Colonial Town Landscaping in the amount of $19,325. So I'd like to introduce this resolution and ask the town clerk that it be entered into the minutes as though read. Can I get a second?
This is for a lump sum amount then?
Lump sum amount.
Yeah, I think that's the way we've traditionally gone.
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Putnam Lake. Sean touched on it a few minutes ago. There's a couple of issues with Putnam Lake. The first is that the town board had a meeting over at Putnam Lake. We conducted an informational meeting on the potential purchase of the castle. We heard from the community. There was a lot of good discussion. There was a lot of great participation from the Putnam Lake community. And I think after the meeting, it was the unanimous decision of both the Park Advisory Board and the town board that we were not going to move forward on the purchase of the castle at this time. Subsequent to that, a couple of days later, both myself and Councilman D'Andriano met with the Putnam Lake Park District Advisory Committee, and we talked about a number of different initiatives that we're going to be looking at. Again, a lot of good discussion with the Park Advisory Board, who's done just a great job with managing the lake. But we also heard from the community. There are a few things we need to focus on. One is the walking path. I still have to get together with Russ on a couple of ideas we're going to work out on that. The second item of discussion was that we are going to start working on a watershed plan, the Park Advisory Board and the town board, trying to develop at least a preliminary watershed protection plan for the Putnam Lake area, so that we can start managing the stormwater runoff going into the lake a little bit better. And then we had a discussion about potentially putting in a series of docks around the lake to provide better public access to the lake. And we will be working on that as well. The Park Advisory Board are going to come up with a list of locations, and the town's going to come up with a design. So that was part one of Putnam Lake. The second part of this is the fact that the carp gate was damaged due to ice. What happened last year was, because of the weather, we couldn't get the water up sufficiently so that there was water behind the gate. So as the ice then rose up along the gate, it actually pushed it over and bent some of the posts. With the leaves this year, it kind of finished the job. So we need to reestablish that fence, and I've been working with the town engineer and the contractor on an enhanced design to make sure that this doesn't happen again. The proposal is to take the posts out, put in actual steel posts that are going to be concrete and steel reinforced, and then add additional mafia blocks behind and perpendicular to the existing retaining wall that's been built out there, and then tie that into the gate so that it can't get pushed over again. The cost to do that is $12,500. So, but we had the foresight to put away $17,000 in funding from the original construction of the carp gate that's still sitting there, so we actually have sufficient money to go out there and do the repairs. And with that, I prepared a change order for Landworks to, this would be change order number 2, and we have a resolution here. to approve change order number 2 for Landworks to effectuate the repairs on the carp gate in the amount of $12,500. And I'd like to ask the town clerk that we enter that. I'm going to move the resolution and ask that it be entered into the minutes as they're read.
Second.
Discussion?
Is there any way that maybe there can be a lessons learned from the way that the carp gate was originally designed and constructed, that people that might be facing similar projects would know ahead of time, hey, don't do it that way, put in steel beams and concrete blocks, etc.
You know,
even through the DEC, because they're the ones that are reviewing they have to review for the
yes, no,
skating
the
barriers, correct?
DEC has reviewed this, they approved it, they approved similar carp gates in other areas.
Right.
I think, again, the biggest issue for us, and, you know, I'm doing it again this year, I'm fighting the weather.
Yeah.
I was hoping to do this earlier in the season, but the rain, I was waiting for the rain to subside, and it just
Never did.
never
Yeah.
has subsided. Last year, the problem was we didn't get the rain, you know, until everything was frozen over solid. If we could have gotten water behind the gate, so the gate was frozen in that block of ice
Right.
and locked in, rather than that ice pushing up against the gate with nothing behind it to brace it, that gate, the carp gate would have been fine.
Okay.
So, this is gonna give us that additional insurance. I mean, if we're gonna go in and replace it, we might as well, you know, do it a little bit better.
Sure. Agreed.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that, all right. The town board has received an inquiry from an owner of 31 Java Road. It's a very small piece of property right at the corner of Garfield. I have a plan here for the town board. Take a look at the location if anybody's interested. It's already on here. You already put it on?
Already one job, yeah. Just not a color.
Color.
Ooh, look at that.
So, I did go out, I did take a look at it. It's a very lovely little parcel, but it's actually too small to really be functional for anything. And believe it or not, the location that it's in is outside of the Putnam Lake watershed, even though it's in the 13 maps. Yeah, it goes back. So it's my recommendation to the board at this time to decline this donation.
Yeah.
There really isn't any advantage for us to take it.
Perhaps it has value to the adjoining property. Just
I
for,
believe they've reached out to them. I don't know.
Okay.
Any thoughts, any discussion? How do you feel?
So what'll happen to it realistically if they just let it go for?
It'll go to
Taxes
taxes and go up for sale.
Yeah. There's a unbuilt house, a foundation on part of it.
That's actually up now.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it current with the taxes right now?
Yes.
or it is?
Well, if it had some value for stormwater, we would obviously be accepting it. That's been one of the reasons we've accepted a lot of these parcels, if they have some value to increase stormwater protection.
Sure.
But if not, then I
And-
agree, we don't want to be taking properties just to,
And I was on the fence because it gives us access to that very large parcel behind it that, again, also hasn't been developed.
right,
But there's no guarantee we'd get that in the future, and,
Right.
you know, we may, you know, take this, and, you know, it's, earlier we approved a bid to take a tree down on a piece of property that we took, you know, hopefully to use for stormwater, and we, you know, stormwater treatment, and we still may use that, but, you know, the liability is now, there was a tree on our property that was threatening a house, we have to pay to take it down, so.
yeah.
Okay. Next on my agenda is an HVAC service agreement. We went out and we got prices for various HVAC companies to come in and service our boilers and our air conditioning. We went out and got rates, which is probably the easiest way to do this. The current company, Clean Air Quality, said they would put us on a priority list where if we called, they would come and run it if we signed a contract with them. Their contract price was $6,600 per year, which is a little bit more than we have paid in the past, but you know, having talked with some of these people, I think it would be in our best interest to go into this contract. However, with that price, we would need to put it out at least for an RFP, which we haven't done. But we do need to get the boilers serviced. So rather than enter into this contract that they proposed, what I'd like to do at this time is just approve the rates for town facilities. Straight time is $135 per hour for clean air quality service. And they have a number of rates for overtime, Sunday, holidays. So I'd like to move that we approve the rates for clean air quality for providing HVAC services to the town. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And I have executive session. I have both legal and personnel issues to discuss with the board. I will defer that to the end of the agenda. Mary, you're up.
Okay. First item on my agenda is a repair needed at Dorset Hollow for the water plant. It's an exterior door. We've taken non-bid procurement requests.
What kind of a door?
Is that exterior?
Metal door.
Another metal one.
Well, wood rot.
It says exterior. Another metal door. Okay. I think wood would rot also, wouldn't it?
Of course.
So the low bidder here is Northeast for the amount of $1,268.60 for the repair. I'd like to approve Northeast in an amount not to exceed more than $1,300 in case it goes over their price quote. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, recreation requests. Okay. Mr. Matt Chabarro would like us to approve the enrollment pricing for ski and snowboarding for the 2018-19 open enrollment. Lift lessons and rentals will be $411. A lift and a lesson will be $261. I'm sorry, let me go back to the first one. I think I said that wrong. You get a lift, a lesson, and I guess the rentals of the skis for $411. That's what that package is. You can get a lift and a lesson. Obviously, if you have your own skis, it would be $261, and if you would only like to have a lesson, it would be $153. There's no employee discount on this program, and this is a price increase from last season due to a price increase coming from Thunder Ridge. So I'd like to approve those rental fees for the Patterson Recreation. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, the next is the, another non-bid. Matt was looking for 75 reversible moisture sleeveless basketball jerseys in black and white. He received one bid. The other Select Sportswear could not match the jersey that they've been using for the past few years. So I'd like to approve YBA shirts for 75 shirts at $12.99 a piece in the amount of $1,024.25. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Some rec announcements. Matt would like us to let everyone know that on Saturday, November 3rd, was pizza night with the purpose and support of the United for the Troops, a local organization that does outreach to our active military. Over 60 children participated by making greeting cards and donating items from the soldiers' wish list that will be part of the holiday shipment. That's a great program. I'm sure that they'll appreciate that when they get that for holiday coming up. Also, this weekend, November 17th and 18th, the Rec Center will be hosting the Hudson Valley Wine and Chocolate Festival. The event is organized by Partners with Park, and their proceeds go to Putnam ARC. They support children and adults with physical and intellectual disabilities. The next announcement is the next senior luncheon will be held on Wednesday, December 5th. The menu includes a holiday ham with all the traditional sides and dessert. Reservations are required by November 30th because space is limited to only 60 guests. November 24th will be the Holiday Bazaar Vendor Fair. That'll be Black Saturday, right? November 20th, is that after Thanksgiving? right?
I never heard of Black Saturday.
I just made it up.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., guests can shop from approximately 50 local vendors. That's really nice. Take advantage of accomplishing some holiday shopping without the chaos of the mall and supporting local small business owners. We'll make sure that we do that. Saturday night, November 24th, also is pizza night. It's a busy day over there. This drop-off program is for all kids in grades 1 through 8 and runs from 6 to 9 p.m. They should have that during the bazaar so you can shop without the
Get rid of your
kids.
kids, yeah.
But there's probably not enough room. $12 admission includes a slice of pizza, a drink, and 3 hours of fun and games in the rec center. No entry after 6:30 p.m. and no early pickups, please. Saturday, December 1st, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is our annual Breakfast with Santa. Join Santa for pictures, crafts, and a pancake breakfast. Please reserve your spot by November 26th. Admission is $6 for those 10 and older and $3 for those 9 and under. They are also accepting at that time non-perishable food items for the holiday parade food drive. So if you're looking for any more info on this, you can call the rec center or visit their website. And Matt thanks you for all your support. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, LED lights, is that what this is for?
Flippin' pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh, am I gonna do the
Yes.
demo?
Let's talk about it.
Okay,
The
so
demo.
let's talk about this. So, we requested NICEAG to replace some or all of the existing company-owned Cobra Head style street lights. They're non-LED fixtures for the town of Patterson, and we're fixtures with town of Patterson with light emitting diode, how do you say that? Diode Cobra Head street light fixtures. Okay, the existing non-LED fixtures are to be replaced and served pursuant to the company's PSC number 121, schedule for electric service street lighting. So, you want to talk about this?
Sure. So NICEAG offered a program to switch out all the Cobra heads to LED lights. LED lights generally are going to run the town considerably less to operate. We took a look at the numbers and realized there's a charge for doing it, but the cost savings to the town ends up paying for the program within 3 years. So the town board decided to move ahead with switching out all the existing lights to all the existing Cobra Head lights to LED lights. At the time NICEAG offered the program, they hadn't actually finalized the details. The details finally got finalized back in September. And so we've begun discussions again with NICEAG to take a look at the lights. They have again finally sent me a list of the lights so that we can confirm the cost savings. But I also wanted to take a look and make sure that, you know, their list matched what we had. It does not, by a lot. So I am currently going through the town light by light, trying to locate the lights. The only ID that NICEAG can give us is the poll numbers, and half the poll numbers are missing, so it makes it quite challenging. But I should have that wrapped up by the end of next week. One of the decisions that the board has to make is actually what color lights we want, because there are two different options, a 3000 Kelvin light and a 4000 Kelvin light. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with lighting colors, kelvins are a way that they measure the temperature of the light. And generally, the lower the kelvins, the orangish, yellowish the light is going to be. As you get up into the higher kelvins, up into the 7, 8, 9, you're looking at almost daylight conditions, or type of light that's going to mirror what daylight would look like.
And is there also a price difference?
There is not.
obviously? No? I prefer the daylight.
So these are, I don't really have a preference, but I was wondering if the higher Kelvin lighting has been shown to be safer for driving. That would be, I think, a very important consideration.
I don't know. I can tell you most other communities who have done this on their own, they've been putting in 5,000 Kelvin lights, you know, trying to mirror the daylight conditions. That's typically what you want to do. If you're doing this in your home, you're generally going to be looking for a softer light, you know, down around a 2,000, 2,500 Kelvin light, which is kind of a, you know, a yellowish glow. It's a softer light. So my recommendation as well would be to go with the higher Kelvin.
So you don't want our streets to be cozy, calm, inviting, and intimate, as the scale says?
No.
We want them
More
to be
crisp,
bright and
invigorating.
vibrant.
Yes.
Okay, well then I'm fine with the 4,000 Kelvin. That's,
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the agreement as outlined in the
Well-
letter. No?
Hold off on approving the agreement. You could just make a motion on approving the use of 4,000 Kelvin lights.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the use of 4,000 Kelvin lights with NYSEG.
So we got
So
that one.
moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Strike that one.
Okay.
It could have been a great slogan, like Putnam where the country begins, Patterson where cozy, intimate, inviting, warm, fuzzy streets are, you know. Could have been a whole tourism thing. We missed it. Had it right there in front of us.
Okay, so we have a fee refund request from Jesse Frances of 51 Lakeport Drive. He has applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for several area variances in order to legalize improvements he had begun making to an existing front deck that sustained storm damage in May 2018. So I'm just going to read this whole thing because it's kind of, you know, we're approving a refund of not the whole fee, so I just want to have the whole picture. So as well as he wanted to construct a carport and legalize an existing shed that was there when purchased the property. Upon further review, the building department zoning denial form, it was determined by this office that Mr. Frances would not be able to put the proposed carport in the desired location because that area was only partially on his property. He therefore need only apply for 3 variances rather than the 5 that he had already submitted for payment. So the total application fee was $558.46. That was including postage, but he will be getting a refund in the amount of $100. So I'd like to make a motion to refund the $100 to Mr. Frances at 51 Lakeport Drive.
Second.
Oh, you didn't say so moved?
Go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, tree removal bids. Another non-bid procurement request here, removal and trimming of the trees on and around Putnam Lake beaches. The low bidder here was Mr. Henry's Tree Service in the amount of $4,600. I'd like to make a motion to approve the work to go to Mr. Bill Henry in the amount not to exceed more than $5,000. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just so the public knows, we are looking at removing trees that were damaged in the May 15th storm on Hudson Beach, Jackson Beach, and Fairfield Beach. Right? Right.
Okay. Budget transfers. First time for me. Okay, so we're going to be making the following adjustments to the 2018 budget. So we have budget transfer request number 35. We would like to take from the contingency account $21,500 and move it to an expense account to general repairs, personal services, and snow removal personal services, just in time for tomorrow. Okay, and this is for the highway department. We'd like to also do budget transfer number 36. We are taking from the park equipment and capital outlay, $5,700, and we're moving it to parks contractual. Okay, budget adjustment request number 37. Looks like we're making an increase to the fund balance for $7,000. By the way, this adjustment is necessary to allocate additional funds for the additional costs for the booster pumps, repairs, and water district evaluation. So we're increasing fund balance account $7,000, but we're decreasing water administration equipment and capital outlay by $4,500, and we're increasing water administration contractual by $11,500. Budget transfer request number 38, we're taking from the expense account $2,500, and we're moving that to, this expense contingent account $2,500, and we're moving that into central data process contractual $2,500. That was necessary to allocate additional funds to the central data process contractual account for additional approved backup and repair services. Budget transfer request number 39 is additional funds to the assessor contractual account for the miscoding of voucher number 180012. There's an attachment here, so we're moving from the contingent account $1,200 into the assessor contractual for a balance of $1,200. So I'd like to make a motion to approve all of the adjustments and transfers that I just read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well done. Okay, other business? Do that?
Oh, sure. Pleased to announce that the Putnam County Department of Health will be holding a Household Hazardous Waste Day. This is kind of a makeup day from the previous one that was curtailed due to an unfortunate event. This event will be December 1st, 2018, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and it will be held at Fawnstock Park over in the town of Kent. If you would like to pre-register, which is required for this event, you would need to call the health department at 845-808-1390, and you can dial extension 43150 or speak with a receptionist who would be happy to help you sign up for this great event. Get rid of all those chemicals in your garage, underneath your kitchen sink, wherever else they may be on your property.
No explosives, please.
No explosives, please. Thank you for that. Yes. Just normal household chemicals. Yeah. That's it. And hopefully it'll be a quiet day.
Mary?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I have one additional thing that came up. Our LoSAP program for the fire department members. Typically, we've been also providing group life insurance. The group life insurance actually is to the benefit of the town. We have a benefit within the plan that fire department members who unfortunately pass on early will get a lump sum payout, or the cost of what is currently available in the plan that they've paid into. Actually, the town's paid into on their behalf. But VFIS has notified us that they will no longer be providing universal life policies, life insurance policies. They've given us a few options. One is to surrender all current universal life policies and implement a group term life policy. Second is to surrender all current universal life policies and provide a self-insured minimum death benefit. And the third option is to surrender all current universal life policies and provide a death benefit equal to the present value of the participants' accrued benefits for active plan participants. I've met with representatives of both fire departments, and we've talked about this. And I have, along with Trish, had extensive conversations with VFIS. My recommendation to the board and VFIS recommendation and Trish's recommendation is that we go with option number 3, which is to surrender all current universal life policies and provide a death benefit equal to the present value of the participants' accrued benefits. Anybody have any questions or?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we surrender all current universal life policies under the LoSAP program, provide a death benefit equal to the present value of the participants' accrued benefits. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public recognition. Does any member of the public wish to come up and ask any questions or make any statements?
Jennifer Gallagher. I had a question about the EMS building. In the original discussion, you had stated that you were going to raise the roof of the existing garage and use the home for office space for EMS and possibly a nonprofit.
Correct.
I just wondered what happened to that plan, and if the existing home has a bathroom.
The existing home?
On the property, yeah.
The existing home actually has 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
The plan is still to do that, is to use the principal building for office space. I've been having some discussions with somebody who may be interested in taking the whole top floor. Talking with our EMS administrator and the town board, we thought it would be better to keep the EMS, the employees all together in one building rather than have them in a separate building. And once we realized that it would make more sense, rather than try to raise the roof, to actually just replace the whole building with a better facility, that we weren't actually saving that much money by just trying to raise the roof. That's where we are, and that's the path we're currently going down, trying to, crunch the numbers and make sure that all works.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.